go live and let's get rid of this Halo episode because Lord knows it
Quan
is
High.
rough.
Quan High.
Quan time. It was brutally bad. Here we are, folks. We are live again. We're gonna talk some Halo, and I am Pops. I am just a gobshite with a mic, and here with me is Ironcaster and Stone Loki. How are you, gentlemen?
Not bad. Well, I watched Halo, but
Yeah, I know. It's
pretty much doing the head shake like you guys were. I know you guys out there can't see me, but yeah, I'm doing the same thing on Quan High. It's Quan High. It's Quan High.
Yeah, she is it this week. We didn't get much. We had a hallucination of her appearance last week, and so we get her full time this week. I don't know about you guys. I hate this type of writing where we will skip whole character arcs and stuff for weeks and then come back around to them. Walking Dead started this like way back in the day. They would just they would drop a storyline and then they just don't address it, and then all of a sudden there's this spontaneous standalone episode, and it's like I don't know. I somehow there's positives because you can flush out a subplot or something like that. But the problem is in modern storytelling, there's really no subplots. Let's be honest. There's no meat to this episode or these characters or anything. It just makes it even worse for me, in my opinion. But
I mean, it's kind of interesting. You get a bit of a full circle here, where last episode you had Miss Mullet only appear for a hallucination, and then in this episode they kind of do the reverse, where Master Chef appears in a hallucination. So we kind of balance that out.
Yeah. But thank you and kudos to you guys for enduring this horrible show. And as we say, folks, maybe if you only want to watch it, we'll watch it so you don't have to. We're fine with that. It's okay. Do what you got to do out there. But yeah, let's we're not going to waste a whole lot of time, but let's kick off what the intro should be for Halo episode 7. If it'll play through the stream, I think I'm going to be fine. If it doesn't shut the stream down, we'll see if we can talk enough over it.
Produced by idiots.
We're being kind to them. Miss Mullet. Because no one else matters. It's funny that you use episode 1 footage because she actually wasn't she pretends to be happy and looks clean and whatever. And by the time we get to this episode,
it's not fair!
Oh, no! I'm so mad!
Damn you! Damn you all to hell, you damn dirty apes!
Oh, I tell you what. And I had a good laugh too because shows like that. Hey, Apollonie's minion, how you doing? It's this, obviously it's the whole, you call them scissoring hens, and it's just like the whole blue hair, pink hair, purple hair, red hair. It is going viral, my friend. I like the people at my church. We were out and about a lot the last few days, and I'm like, what is with like the 40 and older crowd suddenly adding purple, pink, purple, red, greens? I'm like, what is going on? When is this? I don't think this means what you guys think it means. So
see, I think there's like a generational delay on these things where something has to exist long enough in a younger crowd before an older generation's like, wait a minute, it's been about a year and a half. Let's pick up on this now. We can wear this, right?
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
When your ex-wife is about 100 pounds overweight, over her suggested weight, and she's got red streaks going through blonde hair like Strawberry Spartan, you kind of start going, yeah, you're not relevant anymore. I'm sorry, but you're not. And the more you try to be relevant, the less likely you are to actually be relevant. You're just kind of grasping at this I want to be relevant phase when really you don't really know shit. Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
Sorry.
Hollow Quan Chi. I mean, Quan Ha. I don't know. It doesn't really matter what we call her. She is Miss Mullet and will only live on as Miss Mullet. So
It's in the credits now.
I can only ramp that up for you. So I have an ex-wife, and she showed up. No, I think we saw it. We saw pictures on Facebook, I believe. She's got a little bit of the mullet thing going. Definitely the shaved sides of her hair. Let the rest of it grow long, and gained a lot of weight. And I actually thought it was a guy. I kind of hesitated, like I'm confused. Like I thought they were at like a get together, and there was like other people. Like she just looked so different. Then we saw her in person at like one of the grandkids' birthday parties or something like that. It was just shocking, and it really hurts yourself. I don't know about you, Loki, but you're very as a man, I'm very conflicted. Where I'm happy, like it makes me like, holy cow. Whew. There's also the sadness of like, God Almighty, like I don't know.
What the hell happened to you?
Like what?
Yeah. What the hell happened to you?
Pity.
But at the end of the day, you're like, at least I'm not stuck with that anymore. Whoo, I dodged the bullet. Yes. I may not have dodged the original bullet, but I was about 6 months from having to pay alimony. So, woo!
Oh,
yeah.
Dave Reardon, my friend. That's my brother from another mother right there. I trust Dave with my kids. All right, well, let's go through. I don't know about you guys. It's this episode for me. It's the freaking mess, man. I make sure I have sound off. We're gonna go flashback to episode 1 because we're going back to the Sand Planet, people. That's right. There's the crappy TV. We never gave that guy a nickname. He didn't get a nickname.
He's the token villain.
Yeah. So he's our token villain. So this is the flashback to Venture. Burn Gorman, which, by the way, he actually stars in a film, one of their other shows called The Offer, which is based on the making of The Godfather. I started watching that today, and he has more of like a radical studio executive role in that. And so far,
I finally figured out where I saw him for the first time. It's Pacific Rim. He plays one of the scientists in Pacific Rim, and I thought he was a great character. Now he's great, like, oh, I'm evil, and I'm a Yahtzee, and everybody salute.
And it's
you
super
notice
generic.
That with his costuming, even like with the way they have the hood drop, is like very serpent-like. It's kind of like what George Lucas did with Palpatine.
Yeah, I think it's also
the way he's dressed throughout the prequels. There's a lot of that snake-like design to him.
It reminded me of how they tried to do the live-action G.I. Joe movies too, where they try to have that sort of like metaphoric but not so metaphoric costuming. It's like this, it's so blatant. Anyway, we have crappy credits that just kind of flash back to the beginning, because this whole episode is about Miss Mullet. For any of you, spoiler alert, it's all about Miss Mullet, and they didn't shy away from. They did not shy away from the motorcycle scene. They didn't. They're not afraid. They're not ashamed. I'm very happy. I was very happy to see this surface. They're proud of it, Loki. They don't see it the kind of shame that you and I would see as producers if we were somehow involved. If this would have actually gotten through, and our names were associated with this studio, we'd be like, you need to freaking hide that scene. I never want to know that scene exists. In fact, if there's a way to get it off the streaming without getting too much of an internet buzz, that's what we're going to do in a few months, just so y'all know.
Burn it.
Burn it. Holy cow. This scene is insane. Now, I will admit, at least she didn't do her kicking of her feet. So this is Not-Dave Chappelle, who is more Not-Dave Chappelle in this episode than he's been even previously. And then we get to the story where basically it's Book of Boba Fett. We have a sequence where we're basically going to seek out the spiritual scissoring hen tribes. But before we do that, we have to flash back and prove, for in case you have a doubt. First off, look at the size of this guy. Remember the old man, the old Jaws type guy who had his, I got this scar in the war. You don't know the war, little guy. Blah 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 nonsense. Yeah, this guy's huge.
Big guy.
These scenes.
Not exactly what you'd expect to see in a desert with like a rebellion.
Yeah, they're on a sand planet in the middle of a civil war of some kind, and they're doing fine. That's a lot of food.
We are the Quans.
Yes, they're doing okay. It's very diverse. I don't quite understand, because she doesn't seem Asian to me at all. Got some old whites over here on the right. And we bring in
I'll probably get canceled for saying this, but they're magical ease. They're Madra ease. Forget Chinese. They're Madra ease.
Yeah, I don't. Then they bring in this guy. He's like the token young guy who I believe was in the first episode talking to the other old guy. And basically, this is a scene where we learn, because, you know, if we didn't like Quan enough, if we were not totally in on Miss Mullet, this scene teaches us that she is 100% Amber Heard. She is a C word. Holy cow. This little witch, she's rude to him, rude to the dad, rude to everybody. Know-it-all, nasty little broad. I could not believe this scene. It is incredible. I'm like, this is your main character.
I do not have to be humble.
But
I can sit on your face. I know humble. I sit on face. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
They take her over the top so much that the other like people have to call her out, and it's like
that's
it's like at some point it's like, oh, did we make this character too much? We actually need to call out the female character here for being too dour, being too pessimistic.
Yeah, she's mocking him, saying that when this is all over, you're just going to go back to your life like nothing ever happened. You're just going to be basically a poor peasant. So even if this goes well and you live, and they're like, we'll let him be. But she continues. It just keeps going and going and going. And I don't know. I could not believe how nasty she is. Like, it's just an insane premise. This is the look that she's getting from her family, from Daddy-O, and it's just nonsense. And basically, she is she's gone back here. She's driving the dune buggy. And that's where she's going to go. She's going to go back to episode 1 now.
This is them going right into a scene from Mad Max.
It is so insanely ripped off from Mad Max.
Do you see rocks? Do you see the rocks? There's rocks all over. Whether you can see them or not, you're gonna get you see a couple of them. But what she's driving into, there could be fucking rocks. There could be a wall. Yeah, you have obstructions. You have no idea. But she's just like, wow, I'm gonna go at it even harder. Like, you know, Days of Thunder. They tell you to gun it, man, and go through the smoke. But that's not the way this works.
Cue the Mad Max. We're going to the storm.
I was expecting her to pull out the chrome.
Yeah, the chrome.
Go shiny.
A little bit. It does look a little bit like the chrome. Yeah. This is the dumbest freaking scene. Like, she pauses and then just floors it, and I'm just like, okay, life lesson, children. For any of you out there, don't ever do this. You can't flip and see where you're going. You don't do this. What is wrong with you people? Who wrote this crap? Brian calls her the Asian Ray.
You expect some fat guy to come out of nowhere and be like, bah, mediocre.
Oh my!
You know, one of the biggest issues I always have is it drove me nuts. It drove me nuts with the Mandalorian. It drove me nuts with the Book of Boba Fett. It's these desert scenes where you have the characters driving in the middle of the desert at high speeds, nothing to cover their face, no goggles, no face mask, no.
Either one of you guys ride bikes? Have you ever rode a motorcycle? Anything like that? Okay. So anybody that knows anything knows that when you get to around, like, it's okay if you don't have like any kind of eye protection, anything over your mouth. When you hit around 40 miles an hour, shit gets weird. Your eyes starts drying out. You get bugs in your mouth. All kinds of shit can come out of nowhere and just whack you in the face. If you don't have a full helmet, then you're exposed to the elements. Her driving into that without shit, and she don't have a windshield there, and you never see her hair go anywhere. I want to tell you, your hair's going to be whipping around. Your clothes are going to be whipping around. Shit's going to be hitting you in the face. This is the most unrealistic scene in this entire show. Right here is no windshield, exposed to the elements. Her hair doesn't move. No bugs get in her mouth. She doesn't have sand in her eyes. It's not blinding when she's driving through the chrome here. It's complete and utter bullshit. And you'll see her later driving through this just fine with her hair not moving and nothing hitting her in the face. Absolute complete horseshit.
I live again.
And it's like it takes me out of the moment so much with this kind of crap, like you said, because you lose. Is it called verisimilitude, where it's like if it doesn't match reality, so your brain like disconnects, and you're in there going, no, wait, that can't work. That can't. It's like when you see the 110-pound broad who's beating up 250-pound men. It's like your brain goes, huh? Yeah, that's how this scene was for me too. I'm like, what
Also,
on
in the
earth?
scene when she does stop, there is no momentum to the vehicle. They're not even that like little lurch forward. Like you like with the way it's framed off camera, you could have at least had like one of the fat, grips in the back, just kind of lean on it for a second to just give you that. Yeah.
Oh wait, we got to go back because this was. So not only are you driving into a cloud, you have no idea what you're going to hit, what you're going to run over, whatever.
Nothing.
Then she just stops and gets out. Here's
Who dat?
footsteps.
Who dare?
What's that? What's going on? Oh, bag over the head. Cue the not
dat?
credits.
Who dare?
Cue the
Because
not
everybody
credits.
saw her coming in the fucking sandstorm.
Yeah, because they knew exactly where
Sandstorm!
she was. Yes.
Yeah.
Chrome Storm, man, this is so stupid. This freaking show. I was just so insanely bad. And then, oh, by the way, remember Empire Strikes Back? Remember those asteroids were held together with cables? They had cable cars in space. Oh, let's go back there for a minute. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we're going back here for a minute. So we could have new subplot for Not-Dave Chappelle. And he's basically having a little party because he's gotten back there. He's been on his little sand planet retreat. He's gotten back there, and he comes back here to host a party.
This made no sense to me. Why go back and then go back? I mean, he made it.
Yeah.
See, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, they've gone back in time to talk about something, and then I'm like, wait a minute.
Too.
Yeah, yep. I mean, this is a flashback, right? No, he left. He knocked Quan out. Left her for dead, then got tasered, then mysteriously without explanation got back to his asteroid base, and then goes back again.
They talk sure. The villains talk about how he got off the planet because they had a spy on the shuttle that when he left Quan, he got on some shuttle and left and flew back home to the asteroid area, and then they're gonna chitty chat with a new subplot with some guy who's trying to upsert his authority. And then as Loki says later, he's just going to fly back to the sand planet anyway. Yeah. It's this is exactly what this whole season has done. It's like, well, they'll have John fly here, but not there. He'll fly back. And it's like, these people are going back and forth, but we still only have like 4 sets. There's no new locations, no new interesting things. This is happening. It's just a look at, and these people were soy.
We had a lot of money through the Star Trek sets. You think we're actually going to invest in a new set? No.
They look like criminals, don't they? Don't they look like criminals? That looks like the underbelly of society right there at an Abercrombie and Fitch store, maybe. Look at that.
Honestly, I thought they were like extras from Vampire the Masquerade for a while.
They could be CW extras for just about any of their shows.
Oh, good point. It's like we've got our Batwoman extra. We've got our.
Like she was a stand-in for
Tomorrow
Batwoman.
Extra.
This guy could have been a Doctor Who stand-in. He looks exactly like a Peter Capaldi knockoff wannabe. Oh yeah, this is so cheesy and bad. I just didn't understand. And then the fact that we go through this, and then he has this sort of like confrontational scene and blah blah blah, and then they do. Is this the part? Let's see what he does.
Looks kind of like a greaser.
Yeah, they grease it back for no reason.
CW thinks like a 50s greaser would have been.
Meanwhile, Sand Planet, you think she might be abducted by someone that matters. Maybe the villains caught her or whatever. Nope. There's secretly a society of black scissoring hens who are all blonde and wear these robes. I guess we're going for albino, which doesn't work because their eyebrows are not the same color, which, by the way. So I'm not sure what they're going for. I didn't know we bleached hair in 500 years from now, the folks. Still bleach hair or get a weave. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we do.
Clearly they're protecting like the source of hair dye on this planet.
Well, that could be what they're talking about, mining and all that. So we have to waste a whole bunch of time for, how do you know my name? And I'm a priestess and I know your dad and blah, blah, blah. And she's rude. She's obnoxious because that's who Miss Mullet is. You can tell by her facial expressions. Like she's allowed to just be a complete witch. I don't know how she survives. I don't, well, we'll get to that. Anyway, so that's literally all that's happening is they're just going to tell her that, we knew your dad and your dad led the rebellion. Oh, you're who he was talking about. We at the audience have no context of any of that. And then we cut away. I got to go back. I laughed. I have to go back. I have to go back. You guys probably know how bad I am. So it's like,
it's time for my villain monologue.
Oh, look at her eyes. Just the
we are the all-women sand people. We're the sand people, but we're the all-women
Raiders.
Group.
It's the all-black scissoring hen Tuscan Raiders spinoff who wear yarn headdresses or have bleach blonde hair, but not our eyebrows.
Dumb hair. And clearly Miss Mullet is to be their queen.
And then
you, Miss Mullet, clearly the dumbest haircut.
And then we continue to make this show worse because, and we've talked about this endlessly. The fake efforts to look like we have production value. Look how bad this looks. The CGI in this scene. This is so
rubber sand.
Terrible.
It looks like the opening to Borderlands. Like they just straight up ripped the footage from the game.
I would not be surprised. Or at least, like you said, they use stock photos or stock footage, and then they just figure out how to, do it. Look at this. This cheesy looking piece of crap.
Look at the size of that rock they just raced right past. Again, we're driving an SUV through the desert at like 90 miles an hour.
Well, he's kind of like in a limo looking thing. They try to make it seem like it's a futuristic villain limo looking thing. And look, we put in these little things so it just looks different, but it's just so cheap plastic coverings and stuff on a vehicle. It's so not futuristic.
I'm a little surprised they didn't get like a promotion with Dodge to put it right on the front of the truck there.
Something, or just a symbol, right? You would think that maybe they'd get away with a symbol. I don't know. I would thought they were going to go with more like Mad Max, so they were going to stick with like they were going to stick with like the pipes and the steel, the dune buggy look. They were going to stick with something like that, but they ditched it for this thing. So there he is in his cheesy little emperor garb, like Loki was saying. He's he's even got, what do they call? Is that a dicky? Does he have a dicky or just a scarf? Ascot? I don't know. I don't know if he has a scat. What he's got on. Anyway, he has this like. The worst part is it seemed like this.
He's a pud. He's also a pud. He's very much a pud. He's like that like screamy emperor that's like, oh, that gets hysterical and puts his hands up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a pud.
He has this weird dialogue that's not awful.
Combustion down to bottomless perdition there to dwell.
I like him as an actor. Like, and so yeah, like my eyes are locked on him whenever he's on scene.
Yeah, and he has the charisma for the role. The dialogue, his little thing is fine. It's just that you don't believe any of it. There's no merit, and there's no reason to believe anything because there's no darkness to this show. There's never a sense of imminent danger or anything like that. And like you said, Loki, he can come across this way, but he's still only like the henchman. He's only like the gun or something, like the guy that's going to torture someone. Like Indiana Jones, right? Or Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like he comes across as being like that guy, not someone who's in power. He's like still like this weak-kneed, limp-wristed authority figure. I never buy it, but I like the speech, and he at least has. If there's any charisma in the show, it's all with this guy, pretty much. And and not Dave Chappelle. Like not Dave Chappelle has some charisma at times. Anyway, he has this long little speech as they're just driving across the desert. And basically, it's like, we're going to go find Miss Mullet. They don't even say raise the bounty, but that's pretty much what happens.
You ever stop to look at the displays they have like on the vehicles? Like, for example, the truck there, how it has like, we have to see little things pointing at all the doors to point out like, oh, apparently the doors are all closed. Like, why does the SUV need to have this display up all the time?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Then let's see. What do we cut back to? Okay, we cut back. Gosh, this guy he's just a Weasley looking Steve Buscemi knockoff.
Oh, he
guy.
does.
He's got this like,
He's
the bug
generic. He's the generic NPC that tries to screw you out when you go to buy supplies in like a game. Like you go anywhere, welcome to Stoven's Emporium, where we don't screw you with every purchase. Yeah, come and buy from me. He's that guy.
Look at this cheesy. They kind of like give him a little bit of facial hair, make sure he's got kind of some redness around the eyes, so he just looks like he's a little bit strung out, but not totally whacked out of some crack. So Dave Chappelle is going to say, "No, man, I think you've got some moves. You're all right, man. We're going to follow your lead. We're going to do this gig. We're going to go on a mission. We're going to go be Han Solo. And you're going to be my Chewbacca, right? You're good, right, man? You good? Look at Han. Look at not Dave Chappelle. Be Dave Chappelle. He's more Dave Chappelle in this episode than ever. It just keeps the longer the show goes on, the more he's Dave Chappelle. I'm cheering for him, man. I'm cheering for the full-on transformation. So that's. Yeah. So him and the old white, the creepy white guy, they're the only. We had to bring back the Temple of Doom train ride. I was like,
it's probably it's just the same stock footage.
Well, here's the best part. Look, they try to make all these little things in the background so it looks like they have set design. See that right here? It's like you don't really have any set design. You just stick this thing there. That's like, it's just so terrible and cheap. So, all right, cut back to Sand Planet. We're not going to have our Tusken Raider ceremony with the Twiggy hens here, as they I don't know, they play with fire. They give her some water. She's going to become one with whatever her spirit animal is, I guess. I don't even know.
She pulls out a playing. She does a magic trick. Says, "Is this your card?"
Yeah, so from fire to water in the bowl, and then she just drinks it. I'm like, was she supposed to drink it? Because there were no instructions. She just did it. I'm like, wouldn't it be great if she wasn't supposed to drink it?
You drank the whole bowl? Nobody drinks the whole bowl. That was for everybody. You're gonna be tripping so hard now. Your heart's probably gonna explode.
You were supposed to dip your fingers in that. That's the finger bowl.
No one drinks the whole damn bowl.
You were supposed to be the finger bowl. What is wrong with you? Oh, Jace popped in. Jace is saying, they're chatting with each other, of course. And then, oh, look, Wakazashi's Tea House. Hey, brother. Thanks for hopping in here from Japan. We're watching Halo, so you don't have to. Well, Miss Mullet just downs it. And then she trips like a madman. She's running through hallucinations. Or basically, this is the first one. The first one, she's back on the ship with John. He's John. He's still not Master Chief. He at least doesn't take the helmet off. He's Master. Oh, he does take the helmet off. Never mind. Sorry. And it's kind of like episode 1 playing out again, and then they kind of get off the ship and they walk into this little tent area. And you're basically, I was reminded, oh, look, there's Benny from Total Recall. He's still here in her hallucination. So Benny from Total Recall shows up. He's kind of like the instruction/referee. And
I got 5 kids to feed.
Yeah. We want a fair fight. Get out there and give him a fair fight, girl. You can take him. Here's a knife.
Am I fighting?
Oh, shit.
Oh.
No, she hits a chain. And basically, it's not going to end
You can do it. You're a woman.
Honestly, this was probably one of the better scenes of the episode, just because you got to watch her get killed over and over and over.
3 times. It just goes black. And then she wakes up, and we're Groundhog Day. We do it again. So this time, Benny goes, oh, come on, girl. You can do it, man. Let me help you out. Well, I'm going to hook a girl up.
5 kids to feed.
Yep. So then there's like a knife. That doesn't go well. Let's try again. You're dying out there, princess. And I started laughing out loud. That wasn't supposed to be the funny part, but he actually says, princess, you're dying out there. And I'm like, I just started laughing. Had to pause it.
Then she gets a rock.
Oh, yeah. So let's see.
Her
Chains.
brutality against rocks is just
Yep.
so pronoun.
Look at the rock. Clunk. Clunk. Oh, it's so great. And again,
He doesn't even
clunk,
have to move.
clunk. It doesn't even. Nothing's happening. And look at them. They're just standing there.
Well,
Oh
it
my
worked on the
God.
bike, so of course, if it works on the motorcycle, it's got to work on the Master Chief.
What do you want from me? She's like, I want you to never come back to Wakanda. What about you, Master Chef? What do you want from me? I got to be honest. This didn't even look like the same stuntman. But the build looks different to me. But I may be overanalyzing. It just seemed like a
Helmet
smaller
looks
human.
different but this might be from just a weird angle on it.
Yeah. Helmet comes off. And then, nonsense, hallucination, and you were worthy. They talk Korean for some reason. And then this person.
I thought they were Chinese. Why are they talking in Korean?
No, they've been Korean all the time on the subtitles. Subtitles always say Korean.
Well, that and a lot of the characters you've been seeing throughout the show are Korean.
And they will say other languages sometimes. There was another language that was either in this episode or last one. Anyway, so I think what they were going for is it's supposed to be a lineage, a family lineage that are connected to the Scissoring tribe. And then it morphs into being the dad. And that's why she's being chosen, because it's like she's carrying on this tie to the hens.
Yeah.
I like the hut.
I like the costume the father has. I think it's a good looking suit for him.
Yeah, I wish there was more like interesting elements to any of this. Like, yeah, you know what? You're right about his costuming, because at least he looks like someone who would like try to survive on a sand planet that has sandstorms. He looks at least he's dressed for wear.
He has a hood.
Yeah,
You know what's really funny? In the books and even in the games in Halo Reach, the three big human races that went out and like exploded in the we're going to go to different planets department were the Americans, the Chinese, and the Russians. Okay. The Russians, a lot of the Russians were on these outer planets, these outer rim planets that didn't want to do what the UNSC told them to do. That's why they were the insurgents. They were the rebels. And that's when the Covenants show up and change the whole game. The UNSC is basically in a civil war between the outer colonies and the inner colonies, because the outer colonies, which were mainly predominantly Russian, did not want to do what they were told. They were like, well, we came out here to basically start over and do our own shit. We don't need you telling us what to do, and we're tired of giving you kickbacks. We want to just be out here on our own. Suck it, Blue. And that's what they did. This whole Korean thing, the Koreans weren't like a big force in going out and exploring the galaxy. That was the Chinese, the Russians, and the Americans. That simple. I thought they were Chinese this whole time. I didn't know they were freaking Koreans.
Yeah, Jay says he couldn't even finish this episode, and Zanzotan says he got out after the helmet reveal. Yeah. I wish I was hallucinating so I could watch a Halo show. Well, it'd be better. It might be better.
Ask Quan for her meth mushrooms. Yeah.
Yep. Halo's trash. I don't even waste my time on. Well, we're watching this, so you don't have to. Who saw season 4, episode 6 of the original trial? Oh no, we're not changing topics. And then I've never played the games, but it sounds like a mess. You have no idea, Gray.
Especially compared to the games. If you know the games, it's even worse.
Yeah.
This is for people that just don't know shit. That are like, oh my god, I've heard of Halo.
Yeah, they've long since abandoned it. The only thing that remotely you could even make an argument of being Master Chief and or the game is episode 1 with the one fight scene, and then that's it. So literally maybe that 10 minutes, and that's really the only thing. And then a few shots and some of the set designs. That's really about it. There's really not a whole lot of anything else. They make little jingles of keys about cloning and things like that, but very little other stuff.
You mean to tell me you didn't like all those shots of of Master Chief just grunting and grimacing as he's like punching an elite over and over and over again. Yeah, that's just like Halo.
Well, that was Iron Man. He went full Iron Man in that episode.
Oh, you're right.
Yep, that was Iron Man though. He wasn't actually Master Chief at all. He was Iron Man. And this was
no
his
Halo. And
her hallucination. I guess he's a hallucination of dad, and says you can be a leader now. It's like, well, I couldn't raise an army. I tried. I'm not a leader like you. And then there's just teary-eyed Kwan, and a whole lot of nothing happens, basically, because she's the chosen one. She's the special. She's the special. And then we get Wakanda
Oof, that
Hens.
face.
I know. I'm gonna cry. I don't know what to do. And then she wakes up. She's in the hut, and she's supposed to be a leader now. So we cut away. That's what we do in this show. Whenever you think you might get you think you might have something interesting, and they're going to help you actually like get a good scene. Nope.
Gosh, no, they're basically telling her you had the strength in you all along.
You're special. You're the special.
Yeah.
You're the
You
special.
were always
Don't
a
you
great
feel like the
leader.
special?
You just had to take drugs.
You just didn't have the right kind of soup. You needed special soup. So we're going to cut away to a new location. We've never been here before. It's basically
Nobody ever drinks the whole bowl.
drink the whole bowl. Why? She went deep, man. She went deep into the whole
Not
bowl.
the whole thing.
Holy crap! This girl drank the whole bowl. So this is their gig where they're basically they're attacking somebody for a bunch of transmission parts, and Wormy Guy's gonna try to take on Not-Dave Chappelle, who's gonna try to put him in his place. Look at that face. He's the boss. He's like, nope. So he drops the whole pallet of stuff. Right. Oh, his name is called Squirrel.
Oh, jeez.
Or was that yes?
Yeah, Squirrel Panting.
That's his
yeah.
name. That was Squirrel. Okay, I got to be honest.
Welcome to Squirrel's
Emporium.
Emporium. I charge you extra for everything.
Gotta
You get a deal
give
from me.
him credit for giving him a name, for giving him one of these dumb names that we would have given him.
That's a good
That's
name.
true.
I think he could
That's
stay with
true.
Squirrel. He could stay with Squirrel. I actually thought this was going to go dark, and he was telling everybody to get away because he was just going to murder this guy. So, spoiler alert,
I
that
thought
doesn't
they were
actually
going to leave him
happen.
there. I thought they were just going to
Yeah.
leave him to take all the blame.
Right. Nope, we cut away because we have to have him shirtless talking to his, not Dave Chappelle's wife and whatever. And then it's like you said, Ironcaster, we have the spontaneous, he's had this mauling of an arm and his scars on his back. I actually was like kind of happy that they had all of that and don't try to spend too much time on any of this because you don't know if it's from his Spartan training or something else happened. He at least has some sort of element of mystery and a backstory. Like I said, he's one of like only 2 interesting characters in this entire show. That goes on for a few more minutes, and we really don't care because he's going to go back to Sand Planet because the bounty is allegedly triple now. So evidently that's his price. Meanwhile, bad white guy
Oh God.
grabs General Bloody Blah. Who cares? It's not the mother. It's just someone that knows her, and he's going to interrogate her to figure out what Quan is.
We'll call her
Quan,
Antifa.
Antifa. Yeah.
Antifa. Yeah, so she goes back to episode 1 where the initial attack took place. That's where she is. And they're having a little conversation about it. She doesn't really know where anybody is. He doesn't believe her. Then he does the typical bad guy thing where I won't let anything happen to you. Look at the outfit. You're right, Loki. That coat's just really...
Oh yeah.
It's funny because I think they're going for like, what is his name? Kurtwood Smith. Is that right? The guy in RoboCop. We're just talking about RoboCop, so that's why it stuck in my head.
Oh,
Is that
Kurtwood
right?
Douglas, maybe?
His last name. I thought it. Anyway.
Red Foreman.
Yeah, Red Foreman. He's
Dick
going for
Jones. Dick Jones. He works for OCB. OCB owns the cops. You're a cop. Ah.
Yeah, I think he was going for that.
Thank you.
But this is
He's
them.
at
They
the
figured
steel
out.
mill. He's at the steel mill.
Dude,
Wait. This is baffling. It's a it's a computer display that isn't just a see-through chunk of plastic.
Well, how did they get her? Wait, they've been able to track her this whole time? Like, just all of a sudden, now we can track her. Like, she's been on this planet for days. She was in the middle of nowhere with the motorcycle. Then suddenly we have aerial drone footage and we can track her. We know exactly where she is. This just came out of nowhere, by the way. How many episodes have we had this broad wandering around the sand planet? Now suddenly this guy pulls out a little piece of plastic. Go, she's right here. Right there. Right there. There's where she is, George. Right there. Right there, George. Here, Bert. Here, Bert. It's like, what's wrong? What's happening? And then he just shoots Antifa in the back, and then they have
Like
the limo.
I was waiting for Spaceballs to drop in with the audio. Fooled you.
Ryan's going to bed. He says he's tired. I understand. I wouldn't.
Good night, Ryan.
Thanks, buddy. Night, Professor.
All you're gonna miss is Dave Chappelle's gonna turn down a 400,000 credit bounty for a lunchbox full of quarters. That's all you're gonna miss, brother.
He wants to go play Pac-Man. Can you blame him?
I know the Dave Chappelle thing is it's really, really rough in this episode too, man. It's to the point where he keeps transforming more and more into Dave Chappelle. So literally they waste, I don't know how many minutes. Let's see if we can figure out. 2 minutes. She finds a piece of paper. 3 minutes.
I can wipe my butt with this piece of paper.
It just keeps going. There's no dialogue. It's just her wandering around. Hurry.
I found letters from my dad. I found letters from my father to my grandfather about the exact hallucinations I had.
This is complete horseshit. This whole thing right here, where she's like, "I kill you with your own gun, motherfucker." I'm sorry, PG-13. I meant my bad.
Look at how plastic everything. I mean, what is with his? Is this supposed to be armor? What is?
Yep,
what
that's supposed to be his armor.
What are they doing to him? He actually looked fine earlier, and it just keeps getting weirder and worse. Like suddenly, he's got itty bitty ankles. He's got orange armor segments. He's got some sort of chest plate, but not over his abdomen. I don't understand what's happening. Like he has
one
strange.
Gigantic arm.
One arm's enormous. One arm's maimed, and he doesn't wear a helmet. I was like, what the heck is happening? And look at the size of this man's ankles. Talk about someone not made for action films. This dude has like these itty bitty ankles.
I mean, the answer is obvious. He skipped leg day.
Definitely. Not Dave Chappelle is not into legs. All right, so blah 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 blah. Talk, chat. You're not going to kill me. You're not going to shoot me. Why? Because you got no hope out here, girl. They're going to find you. And they're already there.
Because I'm about the only likable character in the show that makes your scenes bearable.
She's so up.
Yeah, I put up with your crap. I should have killed you 3 times.
She's
and
so
then
up.
I love that he turned around. And they turn around. There's spontaneous tarps and cloth banners, and on a sand planet that has sandstorms and whatever. Okay. So
it's
now,
Tatooine. It's Tatooine. Tatooine has tarps, so by God, we gotta have tarps.
Yeah, put some tarps up over there. We don't want to show that. We don't want to use green screen. It's too expensive. Just put some tarps up. So how are we going to fight them off? Well, we're not. I have a plan. I have a scheme, and she actually says it's a better idea than yours. My idea is better, and she's going to open the gas and light it on fire. It's going to blow everything up, but she knows a way. And never surrender. Never surrender. It's just the 2 of us.
Up her own.
So she gets on. She gets on the walkie-talkie and just starts talking smack. Because that always goes well in movies and shows.
My daddy hated you.
Because he's like, what? Because the bad guy's trying to trick her, going, we were friends and whatever. You can kind of trust me. She's like, no, you're a bad guy, and my dad didn't like you. So there, sticks her tongue out or something. It would have been better. I would have more respect for her. Let's see. You won't make it out of here. And she has a secret passage that she just remembered that she has. So she's going to use her secret passage, and she knocks open a little metal briefcase that's full of silver coins, which evidently are worth a lot of money because he's very excited about it. There she goes down her little hole.
Yeah.
Her lunchbox full of quarters.
There you go. Those are Chuck E. Cheese token. Could be Chuck E. Cheese. The Chuck E. Cheese were gold, I think, but yeah, could be Showbiz Pizza.
It's one of those. It's one of those off-brand video game pizza places. Mm-hmm. And the retro market is apparently still very big. People want the quarters for their retro machines.
Yeah. So let's see. Then off we go into action sequence with her interrupting what things could be interesting because she's still on her little mission, and there's some shooting. No one gets hurt. But Dave Chappelle is the most
doing the
amazing
Rambo.
shot. Look at that. Look how cool he was.
Oh, the Rambo
you guys
moment.
want to see that again? He was so good. He's so tough. I'm so cheering for you. Get him, not Dave Chappelle. Get him, not Dave Chappelle. Look at that. Look at that. It's supposed to be a costume, armor, something. I don't even know. All right. I got to keep pausing, otherwise they'll shut us down. He flips it. It's like a boss, man. It's going in. Throws it. Perfect shot. Take out one. Take out another. Get him, Dave Chappelle. Get him, Dave Chappelle.
It's like they forget they have guns.
And no one ever shoots him at the close range. I don't know. Freaking show.
It was like this guy who's laying on the ground. He could have stood back and he could have taken
Just
advantage of.
Shoot from there.
Yeah.
I can aim better on the ground holding still like that than I will be just moving around. I can secure my arm and can get you in. Nope. Again, the cheesiness of the outfit. This actually looks like it zips up in the back or it's got Velcro.
That's the butt flap.
You know, you got to go. You got to go. You're in the sand. You ain't got time to be like, you know, dealing with your costume in the middle of having to go.
Why? Who's wearing that on a sand planet?
Yeah. It does apply.
Yeah,
It's hot
like
here, but
winter
everyone
garb.
has like 5 layers on that are not useful. And as you pointed out, Ironcaster, there's no like evidence of like masks and stuff. Like he has his little bandana that he keeps around his neck, though. Anyway, so there's some
And
shooting.
it's tucked in too, so it's obviously he's never pulled it out before.
Right, it is exactly where it was before the drive. And then this is episode 1 where the first battle was, where the elites are. So this is an elite bomb on the ground when that one died. So she picks it up and sticks it on the back of a dude and blows him up. Like, what are you gonna
I was
do?
getting a lot of flashbacks throughout this of Dune.
A little bit.
A lot of it just kind of felt very familiar with that.
There's also a lot of her sliding under trucks and stuff. That's the elite explosion thing. It gives not Dave Chappelle a chance to 1, 2, miss 3. He just takes them out one at a time. And look at 1, 2. There was 4 or 5 guys shooting at him and they don't hit him but except for super bad guy, 1 shot, bam, got him. Oh, remember the old westerns like Gunsmoke and stuff? How silly and absurd it seemed at times. This stuff is so much worse than that.
Well, at least they didn't take themselves too seriously.
Well, there was a campiness and an innocence to it, right?
That's
This
right.
is supposed to be serious, and yet it's just laughable. And he does hold because he's so in charge.
Hold it! I have to catch a breather because all these layers, they've got me sweating my balls off.
Oh, that's great. And anyway, shoot, a few chats, and then she sets off the bomb. She eventually fires the right thing and shoots, incinerates everybody. They close the door just in time and escape the fire. They're fine, people. Don't panic. We didn't lose Dave Chappelle. We didn't lose Miss Mullet. They're fine.
I don't think we
That's what we
lost
get,
wannabe Yahtzee either.
Yeah,
I
we
think
did.
he's
We did
still
lose
alive
Yahtzee.
somewhere.
I think everybody got vaporized. This giant tower comes crumbling down into some effect. And they just walk outside. No concern about residual gas, falling debris, anything. Just walk around.
Yeah, a pillar just collapsed. Totally fine.
I'm sure it's
And
sure
then-
it's safe out there. And then the rain
Because
comes.
you
Just
brought-
like just out of Dune. just like the end of the 84 Dune. It starts raining.
See, it's because they took down the industrial machine. They took down the industrial machine and nature returned. And look at the smiles. It's raining. Oh my God, we're getting wet. Oh, it's just wonderful. It's so great. We're so happy.
And it's one of those scenes where the rain was added in later for that first bit because there's not a drop on them.
It's true. And then basically he gets his little suitcase of some tokens.
Lunchbox. It's a lunchbox.
Yeah, it's about a lunchbox, isn't it? He's got a lunchbox of tokens.
Yeah.
And then he has a little ship. She sends him on his way. She's like, I could use you. I'm going to let you go now, but you can go now. And so he's going to... And this literally looked like a knockoff of one of the Star Wars ships.
It looks like if he flying in just to go pick up a shipping container.
It's totally a knockoff of...
Like it could fit right in between there. It's perfect for it.
I'm going to stand there with Master Chief's gun because it's mine now.
Yep. Don't cover your face with all that sand blowing in your face. You won't be able to breathe. I cannot imagine. That's such a great point to bring up, Ironcaster, because we can clean a little chicken coop thing, and I can have that nasty gunk stuff get up my nose or whatever. It just drives me nuts for like the whole next day. I cannot imagine being in a place where they like being caught in an actual sandstorm or something. What that would do to your eyes and your sinuses and stuff.
It's been one of just the ever constant tropes I've been noticing with a lot of these streaming shows where they all insist on using deserts because it's apparently cheap to film there. That they just have to do everything and like, oh no, we need to keep our heroes' faces, uncovered so you can know it's them, that they're actually there on a set.
I hate when they keep putting this girls that are the key to everything. Real tired. Well, that's the mantra, man. That is the thing. It's part of the third wave feminism. Let's be honest. Is this Halo or just Boba Fett 2? That has been my initial response from episode 1. And then they kind of didn't feel Boba Fett. It's like, but this has been a knockoff amalgam of like a whole bunch of sci-fi stuff. We made references in this episode of, from Empire Strikes Back to Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. There's other stuff all along the way. Basically just boldface ripped off Expanse, I think at least twice. You guys are a better expert at Expanse than I am, because this is all the same things as Book of Disney Fat Hat. Yeah, pretty much. It's exactly the same formula. It's kind of the same structure. That's the credits. The credits roll. And that was Miss Mullet's dedicated episode. So I guess we're going to leave her on the sand planet. And I lost my mind. I gotta be honest, guys. I literally sat there and went, she'll be dead in 5 minutes. The earlier part of the episode, she admitted to the Yarn tribe, the little hens, that no one follows her, no one listened to her. She tried to be a leader, no one would listen to her. So you remember, wasn't that episode 3 or 4 where she met her family and they were like, the rebellion's over. No one wants to fight anymore. So she's what? She's picked up a gun off the ground. She's going to go back to them and they're going to listen to them. Anyone's going to follow her?
She beat the bad guy by herself.
What the heck, man? This show
At that point, it's like, I don't believe you did that, but why should we listen to you now? If you already killed him, then go away now. We're in charge now.
She weighs 80 pounds. Push her on the ground and grab the gun. Well, I'm in charge now. Like, this isn't like a democracy that running the giant sand planet. It's just so stupid. Doesn't make an ounce of flipping sense. And they're just mocking you. They mocked you when they said it was going to be a Halo show, and it's nothing to do with Halo. It's Halo in name only. Hollow, as Ryan nicknamed it. And now they just want you to completely suspend any ounce of logic or common sense to have this little nasty Amber Heardy little witch run around with Master Chief's gun that he abandoned on the planet during the actual battle and suddenly claim that she's going to survive and lead a rebellion. It's so absurd and stupid. I don't even know what to say.
Although I do think it was a little, I feel like I should almost give them some credit for not having like the helmet come off to reveal that it's her in the armor in her flashback. So it would have been the exact same thing for her to kind of build up like, oh, you have to be the hero. You have to be the knight in shining armor to come and save the day. And look, here's your Excalibur.
Listen, if I had to write this, that's my next episode would start with that. Whenever I showed her again, I'd have her have some sort of little cart or dune buggy thing. She's gone around. She's collected all of the elites and all of the soldiers' guns and armor, and she pulls up with them and says, "This is why I'm in charge, because I did all the heavy lifting. I earned my keep. They're gone now. I vaporized them. Not Dave Chappelle helped me, sure, but it's gone now. I'm
And
the
then
heir
she
apparent."
pulls the gun out and said, "You got a problem with that?"
Yeah, especially the
Pulling,
elite guns.
you know, Ashley J. Williams.
It's even worse when you think for 5 seconds and you see it's a teenager without any type of leadership or experience or anything. She's just being said, "You're the best." And that's not enough. In fact, it's even worse than that, because definitely in episode 1, I think it comes up again, she wanted to get off the planet. She didn't want any part of this rebellion or her dad's efforts or whatever. It was like, the moment I can get out of this joint, I am done. And then suddenly, when her dad is butchered in front of her, because he was a foolish man and just ran out in the middle of, left his cover and just ran out to face an elite, he was murdered in front of her. Then suddenly, when Master Chief let her live, which he didn't have to let her live, he nursemaided her around the galaxy. She didn't do anything on her own. Then he dropped her off with Not-Dave Chappelle, who's been nursemaiding her around from planet to planet 2 or 3 times. She hasn't survived on her own 5 minutes. It's freaking ridiculous.
You know, it's like they read the first step of the hero's journey.
Oh yeah, well, you're being kind in my opinion, but okay.
Like, I'm gonna give them a little something. It's like they're trying, but the problem is there's all these seeming, you know, Hollywood mandates where it's like, well, no, we can't do certain bits of storytelling because that would, you know, put the female character into a position of not being in this superior situation. She can't be a victim at all.
Well, I thought it was no coincidence, Loki, that the Star Trek show debuted simultaneous, and it didn't have Doctor in this episode, so you would run no risk of your audience actually picking up on the fact that they have copied the same character.
Nurse Chapel is Doctor. Black Keys is Admiral Robert April. Yes, you've got conflicting characters, and you don't see either one of them in this episode that are overplaying characters in Star Trek Strange New Bedfellows as well. So yeah,
the hero's journey. Yes, it is an abomination. I just can't believe it's so ridiculously bad. Let's play Loki's thing again real quick, because I need this is the best part. This has been the best part of the show, in my opinion. Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Paramount presents a new science fiction masterpiece.
Soup? I like soup.
Wait a minute. We got to go back. Hold on. How do I pause?
Do you notice that?
Hold on. That little boy's face.
Yes.
Okay,
That little boy's face is freaking gold. Holy cow.
That's why I zoomed in on it, because that wasn't like a zoom.
Face. Look at that dude's face.
That wasn't a zoom moment. I had to zoom in while that, because they didn't do that. Yeah,
we had to zoom in on the zoomer.
That's a little boy going, "Mom,
yeah, I don't why
am I here doing this? What?
You said I'd be in Halo.
This isn't Halo. What's under the rocks? Plants.
No one else really matters besides Miss Mullet."
Yes, the drugs.
The only time I've ever seen her smile.
Yeah, this is the only scene. After this is all downhill, because later, the proverbial master class in REEEE.
The most comprehensive journey of a spoiled brat you will ever see, coming 2022 to Paramount Plus. Yeah.
Wednesdays at 8 p.m.
Mullet, a Halo story.
Yes. Thank you, Zanzeltan.
It is the best. It's the best
Bravo.
part of this week's show. It is the best. So, I don't know, man. I tell you what, this is Ironcaster. You said when we watched this, because it's so bad, it kind of makes the good things shine even brighter, and that's kind of how I feel. I feel like, well, it makes certain things brighter.
And the other thing about this show, I feel, is it has the benefit of being not memorable. Is that I'm gonna forget all about this as soon as I turn something else on. I'm just like, oh, what was Halo? I remember something about a bad mullet in Halo.
Well, I started laughing out loud when you were Loki. You were referring to the show, and you just started referring to them all by their nicknames. You were like, Miss Mullet and Doctor, and you just went on this little it was like a 30-second thing reference to Halo, but it was all by the nicknames that we've given them. I'm thinking to myself, you're right. If we hadn't given them the nicknames, I'm not sure I would remember any of this. I would just, they're just their nicknames. So
they're not the people from the games that we know and love. They're not the people from the movies that have come out that are actually better, way better than this. If you can get a hold of, Halo Reach, if you can get a hold of some of the great movies, there's some really good movies out there, whether they're animated or not, that are much better than this. And then you get this shit, and it's just shit. It's all.
It's just shit. I could not believe how stupid I call it their story arc for her. And I don't know. I assume the last couple episodes will try to wrap up all of the other mess with the artifact and Hot Pocket and John and all of that, because this just kind of left her. She's now on the Sand Planet. She's in charge now, basically. Like I said, I would have actually made it an after credit scene. I would have made an after credit scene with her pulling up with all the weapons and all the stuff, and that's why she thinks she needs to be in charge, because she's done all that. That's how she's just done. She's not in the show the rest of the 2 episodes. I don't know, but she's been more relevant to the storyline at most of the time than John has, formerly known as Steve.
There's this small story arc in Reach where they're dealing with John, and like at first John's like, I'm gonna do anything to win. I'm in this for me. I want to get to the goal as fast as possible. And the drill instructor tells them all, last team to cross the finish line, you don't get to eat tonight. And John's the first one across that finish line, but one member of his team doesn't cross the finish line. And the drill sergeant is like, no, because you left your buddy hanging here by himself. And he tells John this. He's like, no, you guys lose. And they beat the shit out of him. And he has this thing where it's like, no, from now on, it's all of us against them. And there's these scenes where they try and divide the kids, and he's like, no, we're going to stick it together. We're all going to meet up here in the woods at this certain place and blah, 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 blah. And this goes on until they do the genetic modification. Right. And a third of the kids die or are paralyzed, whatever. And he has his conversation with his drill instructor where he's like, how could I have saved them? How could I have stopped this from happening? And they have this beautiful conversation about it. And then he says, I'm never going to fucking let this happen again. I'm never going to let this happen again. I'm never going to lose another man. Of course, obviously, that's going to happen. But it puts him in this frame of mind where he's like, the team is above everything. Mm-hmm. My team is above everything. My job is to make sure my team succeeds and gets back home alive. That one little arc in a cartoon slaps the hell out of this entire series.
It makes all of this look like such JV writing and development.
Yes.
That's incredible. Yeah, this is like a JV squad compared to that. And you're right. Ironcaster is right. A lot of people will never even remember this, not even as that it's airing right now, because it has nothing really important or original. And that's what we've been saying all the time. You could literally just scratch out the name, make it into something else. It's so interchangeable. It's filmed in interchangeable sets with interchangeable actors and interchangeable situations. Nothing is Halo. It's only Halo in name only. And we've suffered through, so you don't have to. That's our stance. So, Loki, let's start with you, my friend. What's been good for you this week? You've been able to. I catch some of your other stuff, and I don't see you subjecting yourself to enough positive things, or at least spend more time talking about those positive things. We got to work on the therapy part. Oh wait, I have a video. While you're go ahead and talk while
I
figure
got a
out how
lot
to
of that
upload
out
it.
this morning. I actually talked
That's
about,
true. Okay.
drama and getting away from drama, not getting involved in drama, not letting people pull you into drama. It's honestly, I've gotten a couple messages today going, man, that was one of your best live streams in the morning ever. And it all circles around YouTube talk. People really like the YouTube talk. I originally was like, am I really qualified to do this? And it was Mexican Iron Man. It's like, dude, you've been here for 10 years. If anybody's qualified to talk about it, it's you. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to come off like, oh, Loki knows everything. But it's been fun, and it's therapeutic in its own way, getting that out and talking about it. And shit happens all the time with people, and YouTube can be full of drama, or it can be a great place where people can hang out and brotherhood and sisterhood and kicking ass together and taking names. And it's got its ups and downs. It always will, but it's a good thing to talk about on Wednesdays.
No, you know what we have to say to
The
that?
truth ain't like puppies, a bunch of them running around. You pick your favorite. One truth.
One truth. That's right.
One truth.
So here's what I did this week. I got to figure out how to get.
You won't never see me tripping. Got the vision, I don't even need assistance. Bob Ross. All I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't want to cause a problem, I'll solve it, Bob Ross.
I like it. I really like it.
Bob Ross chill time.
It was always great watching Bob Ross because you'd sit back and you'd watch him paint and you're thinking, no, Bob, don't do that. That's not gonna work. And then he's like, no, it's fine. We're just gonna paint a happy little bush over.
It's fine. It's just
take
a
nice
happy
and
little accident. It's a happy little accident. We're gonna turn that right into a little.
And then it winds up
bracket.
turning into a complete masterpiece.
I was trying to find some good stuff to use, and I got the music. Got the music from Anomaly. Got to give kudos to Anomaly for the music, and then I was like a little. It's time for some chill time. We can talk about positive things. We can kind of chill. So that's how I ended up with that. I have Bob Ross issues. I know. So
he had there was like this 6 month. It was when I was like 6 or 7 years old, maybe a little older when he did this. I'm not sure, but I remember him doing this painting where he was doing a castle, but he had an inverted castle in the castle.
Whoa.
So it was like you had the castle and then you had the inverted castle on top of it.
Huh.
And everything was mirrored. So yeah, it was like everything was mirrored from top to bottom. So you had the normal castle with the steps and everything, and then you had an inverted castle inside of the castle that connected everything and had the stairs and all that going the opposite direction. Up.
I would love to see that actually.
So like the inverted castle from Castlevania.
Yes, like the inverted castle from Castlevania.
Wow.
But inside the castle. So you could see in the castle and it was inside the castle. So you had like everything that was going upwards was like going down but inverted from top to bottom. It was really cool. But he did that for like 6 months until he moved on to something else. But that's the only thing I can ever remember like watching him do back in the day is that one damn castle that was inverted like that.
He was on semi-regularly for us, and then obviously once they put it on, I think it was Netflix. I can't tell you how many times I would just turn it on so there would just be noise in the background. Like, mama didn't care. The kids, nothing offensive for the kids, whatever. It could just be noise, while everybody's just doing something. So, yeah, I got a Bob Ross. It's like, I love the Bob Ross thing, and just the messaging and the kindness and the be nice. It's kind of Mr. Rogers kind of stuff. It's like that kind of stuff for me. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was always interesting, kind of considering his history of being, I believe, in the Marines, a drill sergeant, who wanted to get out of just kind of being that, always yelling, always having to be like that, and then he's like, I just want to do something relaxing. I just want to paint and feed my little squirrels.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. It's great stuff. So, all right, so Loki, you're talking about you got your RoboCop. Right?
RoboCop. Watch RoboCop. Ironcaster mentioned the 4K RoboCop. We actually watched that last night. Believe it or not, I'm not spending any time watching any of this shit we've been reviewing. I've got the entire Warner Brothers 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000 collection. So there's 10 Blu-rays in each pack. There's like a volume 1 and volume 2 of the 70s, volume 1 and volume 2 of the 80s. Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the 90s, and then Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the 2000s. So I've got like the entire collection. That's 20 movies a decade. and it's like Warner Brothers' best movies for those decades.
I
I've just
love
been going through
RoboCop.
those, man. I've just been going through
RoboCop.
those, and
RoboCop was in the theater when I worked at the theater, and they had one of the standees, and he would move. He would just pivot like this. Someone pulled up with a truck to steal it. So I came out of an auditorium with my little pan and broom because I've been cleaning, and all I see is it being carried out the door, thrown in the back of the truck, and then peeling away. Someone stole the giant RoboCop standee.
I actually got to see that in the theater. I was really lucky because I was only like 8 years old.
Okay.
But we were coming out of dinner. It was a rarity that me and my parents got to go to dinner, much less go to a movie. And my dad was just like, you know what, let's go see a movie. And we went and looked at the movies, and I was like, that one. And I'm thinking like the robot cop off of He-Man with the blasters in his chest and all that. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, robot cop. And then I see that at 8, and I'm like, wow. And my mom, of course, was like, oh my God, I can't believe we took him to see this movie. Yeah, mortified.
Yep.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me. And oh yeah, it was like every 80s kid.
Don't move, creep.
Yeah, every 80s kid's dream to go and see RoboCop.
God, I love
theater.
that movie so much. And again, this Nexus era for me working at the theater is that, that it's just, there's not a way to undo that kind of experience, like the time. So I never got a job. So I actually ran like a comic book thing, like out of like a flea market back in this heyday of like the late 80s and early 90s, where I did like flea market stuff where comic books and cards and stuff. But I could never get hired at a comic shop. They would never hire me. I didn't have experience. So, but this era of working in the theater, doing the flea market stuff where I'm, moving, because when you're selling stuff like that, you're moving through so much content. You're just experiencing all of it basically at one time or another. I know Gary at Neurotic talks about this because he did it for like 10 years. My stint was really about 3 to 4. And these type of things, they just mean even more to you. Like Die Hard is that for me. Like Die Hard I went to the theater experience for Die Hard and the Batman movie and the stuff. So like it just that makes it extra special. RoboCop is definitely on that list. Ooh, God, I love that movie.
It was a movie I remember being introduced to really young. I think I might have been about 5 or 6. My dad's watching it on the couch, and like I kind of wanted coming over and sitting with him and watching it, and I'm just like totally engrossed with like this guy in this cool silver armor, and like he's spinning the gun around. It's like, holy crap, This looks so cool.
Yeah,
Can I say crap, Dad?
You can. I will give you permission, son. Don't tell your mom you heard it at school. That'd be my advice to my children.
That right there, what Ironcaster is talking about, that is what makes a lot of these movies special. You talk about like Predator, exact same thing. I watched Predator for the first time sitting on a couch with my dad. Aliens, and that's something I got to do with my kids. I was only like 7 or 8 when I saw Aliens. I watched that with 2 of my daughters. One of them was 9. The other one was 7 years old. Yes, I covered the 7-year-old's eyes up when Bishop got torn in half and all that, stuff happened. But sitting there watching that with my kids, it's something you remember. And that's something when you sit there and you watch something with your dad and you see it. Blade. I would have no idea about Blade Runner. I would have never watched Blade Runner if it wasn't for my dad. I would have never watched the original Alien if it wasn't for my dad. Same thing with Alien. Same thing with a lot of this stuff you watch with a parent or you watch with somebody for the first time. And that's why they're special. I've got the entire damn Puppet Master collection. Those movies are the most B-roll murder cheese movies. And I've got like the too long trunk. Why? Because I watched all those horror movies with my friends and we would rent them. We'd rent the entire collection from Blockbuster over and over and over again and sit there and be like, dun, 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 dun. Da-na-na-na, on the weekend, sitting there humming the theme song because we were going to hang out and watch freaking horror movies. I almost said a bad word.
You did good.
But I mean, that's why these movies are important, because of the people you shared them with, family, friends, whatever, man. And
that's why I love this. I'm going to stick with the fellowship family stuff, man. It's like, maybe, some people are more into movies or comic books. They got a lot of gaming people. I know Ironcaster, you're really into a lot of gaming stuff, like Tabletop's starting up his channel and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not into certain pieces of this thing, but that's how my comic shop was set up. It had all of this stuff. If you were into figures, if you were into gaming, you were into comics, you were into cards, you were into it was all there. And so like, I just look at it as one umbrella of stuff. And I know, Loki, you talked about this, the drama and the backbiting and all that. And I messaged you privately because I'm like, well, I feel like a noob because I'm so naive that people would behave that way. And it's because I'm old. I don't put up with that crap. Like, just get out. It's okay. I'm not gonna make a scene. I'm just like, nope, you're just kind of out of the loop. I can just go hang with someone else. It's like, it's no hard feelings. Just leave me alone. I'll leave you alone.
That's right.
Kind of stuff.
That's right.
And it's like, it's fine. We can just part ways. It's okay.
It took a while for me to get there, Pops.
It is a rough road, but part of it is I'm old.
There's some people I absolutely love. I absolutely love being around them. I absolutely love getting to work with them. But there's also this like, well, if you're going to bring a whole bunch of drama in this shit, like even if it's before and after, I don't want to hang out after a stream and listen to an hour's worth of drama because you're fighting with somebody else or some other bullshit. I don't have time for that. I want to go. I want to have fun. I want to watch a movie. I want to play a video game. I want to do whatever I want to do. And I don't want to have to deal with any of that shit. So it's better to just not have that conversation. And if that keeps happening, then you got to go, hey, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. And I've done that. I shut down a show because of that.
I had to be, pastor hat, right? Talked about it. We've even talked about with some folks privately. And, it's rough as you got to give people advice. You're trying to be biblical. You're trying to be all religious and whatever. But at some point, you kind of have to say, listen, some things you have to keep at arm's length. I mean, if it's a relative, you got people in your family that could be criminals. They could be dangerous for you. They could be doing things around your kids. You can have situations that, are not good at all. And you do have to make some decisions. It's not like it's contradictory to my belief in the teachings that puts you in some sort of clash with what intent is, and there's no reason that's the purpose. Now, how you handle that conflict would matter, right? You don't want to be you don't want to answer a-hole with a-hole. That's not going to be good for any party. That could turn bad. So you can just be like, listen, we just gotta part ways. So, well, we got another comment here from Zoltan. It's movies. When they didn't had that parent advisory were great. I was 9 when I watched RoboCop 2, but I still feel like it was normal because by 7 I was watching Dragon Ball. Ha ha ha. You know what, man? Yep. Every parent has to make certain decisions. I tend to be honestly a little more conservative on some of that stuff, but I also was like fast forwarding through things. So my kids were very, very little and Jurassic Park would be on. However, they didn't watch, the T-Rex eat the actual lawyer. They didn't watch, we could skip, they could watch the dinosaurs and we could skip through pieces of that. You know what I mean? So there are ways to get them exposed until you can get to the age where you feel more comfortable. So what else, Loki? Anything else? Freaking 20 box sets of movies is enough to keep anyone happy. That's great, man. That's
pretty much,
you, bro.
That's pretty much what I'm doing. So that's what I'll do at night once everything's done and everything settles down for the night and everybody's nestled all snug in their beds. Pop out the movies, watch a good movie. I'll try to watch 1 or 2. I watched RoboCop and RoboCop 2 last night. I got almost all the way through RoboCop 2.
That's awesome.
But yeah, you watch what you enjoy, and you know what? Forget all this other crap. We've got more media than we can ever watch an entire lifetime.
Yep.
I think I've got a couple of those collections, the best of Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Because I was like trying to go over my movie list. And it's like, I think I've got the musical one. I think I've got the comedy. I think I've got the best picture.
Like, this one's separated by decades. So it's just like 70s. Here's your 2 volumes for the 70s, 2 volumes for the 80s, 2 volumes for the 90s, 2 volumes for the 2000s. I don't know if there's a 2010 one yet. I haven't looked in a while. But I know that when this came out, it was still the 2010s. So I just picked them up. I think I got them all at Best Buy at one point in time. I just splurged and was like, I'll take all of them. Screw it. Every decade, I want it all.
That's awesome.
And they've just been sitting there waiting until I was like, you know what? I don't want to watch any of this new shit. Sure, I could go watch Fantastic Beasts or whatever.
Oh, no.
But I don't want to watch any of this shit. I want to watch some just the good old boys.
Well, for me,
never
I think
meaning no harm.
Yeah, what's going to bring you some sort of joy and balance whenever I'm subjecting you to Halo weekly? Like, so for me, it's like I'm not going to, you were already doing Picard and stuff too. And you turned me on. So I'm going to do a new show a little bit later on tonight, folks. If you want to swing back by, we're going to do a little thing about 8 o'clock to get me caught up on a few of the news stories. And let me tell you what, they almost got me to at least try something. And I thought, well, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds is kind of like, it's not like I had to have watched Discovery or Picard or anything like that. And I thought, well, I'm hearing some mixed reviews and some mixed thoughts. And then what you dropped the other day, where you talked about the one scene, I don't even want to spoil it because I cannot believe it. It's so appalling that they want to go down that avenue. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I'm not going to subject myself to that and then like keep diving deeper down the crap hole and watch all this other stuff. I'm gonna balance it out with something that's good, that's healthy, like RoboCop.
And that's how they choose to start the series.
I know, episode freaking 1. It's so insulting. And then to have Anson Mount come out and never mind. I'm gonna get ahead of my plans. Anyway, so we are going to do a little, it'll be a Wednesday as well, which may not be the best time, but we have Halo on the Tuesday. So we'll do a Wednesday. We're going to do a special little show. I think we'll probably start around the same time because it works well for me. May 25th is Star Wars Day. It's the official Star Wars. We're trying to get hashtag Star Wars month going, but I guess it's not going to take. But Mags and I are going to host a little Star Wars night. Found a ton of clips and stuff from this 1976 and 77. I don't know what else we'll bring to the table, but I've been loving it. I did share this when I had Mags with me. These are originals. Return of the Jedi trading cards.
Nice.
Yeah. These are inexpensive. You can find some of these. These are off center. That's probably, I should say, inexpensive because of the quality. You couldn't, these went up value like crazy for a while. People were trying to find the perfect ones to get them graded and stuff, which of course back then you couldn't even get stuff that was centered properly. But yeah, we'll do some more Star Wars love. We have to stick to the positive stuff. I refuse to let them steal it from me. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
The interesting thing is I find what was once seen as the bad stuff has kind of been elevated.
Sure.
So, for example, the Ewok movies are something that people would just like kind of poo-poo on. Or
holiday special and stuff.
Exactly. I was about to mention holiday special, but even that kind of has its own sort of riff tracks, MST3K sort of charm to it.
Sure. Well, I think there's a certain, I don't know about you guys, there's a certain element of levity that I can appreciate when things like this have gotten so bad. Okay, so like perfect example, right? Ironcaster, we did that stream with a t-shirt where we watched Sword and the Sorcerer, right? We can kind of have some fun with it. Like, just because it's cheesy and low budget and we can have some laughs doesn't mean we also can't just have a good time enjoying something. That can be charming. That can be a charming and fun experience. That's the best word I got. Unless we come up with something better than charming. But it's like a fun way of experiencing something together and whatever. Because I got to be honest, this other stuff, it brings me down. Watching the Halo stuff, I don't let it bring me down because I don't care enough. But I pity it. And I pity the people that have wasted their time and money and energy. You're a bunch of fools. I'm sorry.
Well, I think to compare it to the earlier stuff, at least with using the Sword and the Sorcerer, for example, with that, it's like, yeah, that was at the time when, or that was an early one, but you would get a lot of the similar sort of Sword and Sorcerer movies were all trying to do a similar thing, but they were at least trying to come up with some creative differences to kind of help them stand out. Whereas you compare to a lot of these shows we get today, and they all are playing from the same like checkbox list. Like, oh, we need to be sure that our cast is completely diverse. There's a non-threatening black man. There's female leadership. There's
sand planets. Benign backgrounds, it's all plastically looking. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think I would have to spend some more time looking at them, but I think that I could easily identify Beastmaster and Excalibur and Sword and the Sorcerer and Conan. I could easily separate them off from one another, even though they are very similar and they're a similar era and all of that. Whereas now, this is all just a bunch of vanilla nonsense that you could interchange. All right, man. Well, I don't have anything else. I wanted to get through everything relatively quickly, and definitely want to thank Loki for our little video clip.
Oh, you are very welcome. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed making that. I really did.
It's fun. It's really fun to. I got to be honest. The mocking elements of Halo have brought me more joy than you can possibly imagine. I had this dream in my head. I was just daydreaming, thinking, man, wouldn't it be fun to actually have the action figure and like rebrand it so it said Miss Mullet on it, and have like a Strawberry Spartan one. And we had our own little set, like just to commemorate us doing this because it's just how I felt, and I don't even know if there's.
Well,
I mean,
wait till next week. Wait till next
just
week.
get-
We may have something like that.
Okay, all right. Well, we
Just get a Master Chief and put it in a little actual jar of strawberry jam.
Well, I tell you what,
Strawberry Spartan.
I think because you stepped away from it, I said, if it wasn't for the nicknames, I'm not sure I'd even remember some of the details. Like the nicknames really have given it at least enough of a personality and flavor that I can even keep track. Because I'm up here, I'm trying to, go through this episode that I've watched like 1.5 times, and I'm like, okay, I'm sure I reflect on this, reflect on that. But it's their nicknames is what holds it together for me because I didn't have the Doctor, and Sunrise, and I didn't have these references. They're just vanilla character. I called the wrong name for like 3 weeks. But people are like,
And
by the way, that character
Squirrel.
Yeah, Squirrel. They finally did something. We gotta give them kudos for Squirrel.
Yeah.
Shout out Squirrel. There should be a squirrel shirt or something for Squirrel.
We got to have like one of those like in memoriam for squirrels.
The problem is that scene is just so silly. I envision like the Spaceball thing when they drop the thing on his foot, and then it's like he's got like the pancake foot and he's shaking it, and I'm like, that's how that squirrel's foot now looks. He's got like pancake foot. So
Like Barf and Spaceballs.
exactly, barf. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for you guys in the chat. Love you guys for even supporting a crazy old guy like me, just hanging out and having some fun. It's been awesome. Be blessed. Make tomorrow better than today. And look forward to seeing if you can make it back later on tonight. We'd love to have you. So thanks again.